What's up, folks? Welcome.
Hey guys.
Welcome to another episode of Talking Scared. I'm sorry we're a few minutes late. Somebody was doing her hair.
Shut up.
And it clearly wasn't me.
No, he's got a little roasty toasty up there.
Yeah, there's no hair up there to do. But welcome to a very, very exciting episode of Talking Scared. We have been looking forward, not that we don't look forward to each and every single one of them, but really, really looking forward to talking to Richard this evening, not just about Mushroom Head. We are, for the Mushroom Head fans that are out there, we will
answer a few questions for you guys.
We're definitely going to dive into Mushroom Head this evening, but we are here primarily to talk about the haunt actor and the gentleman that is over Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, what all they have going on there, and just diving into the horror side of Richard Thomas. Like I said, we will definitely discuss Mushroom Head. There's no doubt about that, but we're going to save that for the end, so don't get distraught and be like, they're not even talking about Mushroom Head. We're going to, I promise. Hang in there with us.
We are, first and foremost, haunt review people.
Yeah.
And that's what thanks for the loves, guys.
That's something else, and that was something that Richard was excited about as well, is he wanted to be able to talk more
Hi,
about
Laura. Good evening to you, too.
about the haunt side of things and what he does on the other side of things, other than just Mushroom Head. So anyways, we are going to be bringing in Holly here in just, well, he's already ready to come.
Yeah, he's ready.
Hell, bring him on. We'll jump right into it. We'll hit announcements on the back end. I don't care.
I'm okay with that. I'm excited for today.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, just waiting for the Wi-Fi to catch up.
Heard, yeah.
Yeah, there you are. You're clear. You're clear now.
Cool. Well, thank you, number one, for joining us this evening and taking some time out of your insanely busy schedule to hang out with us for this evening, man. Really, really appreciate it. Now we are talking.
Thanks, Maximus.
We are talking with Richard Thomas, also known as Stitch. He is the drummer of Mushroom Head, haunt actor, haunt runner, doing all types of crazy shit on many different platforms. Again, thank you so much for spending the evening with us tonight. Now, Richard, I've always found it in my life, it's best to start at the beginning of things. It always seems like a good place to start. And I think that's a good place to start with things tonight. So, 7 years old, your mother is a huge horror nut. Let's start there at the very, very beginning. What that was like at the age of 7, growing up with a mom that was crazy into horror, exposing you to some horror movies, and what that was like growing up and forming you into the person you are today.
Yeah, like I said, she definitely didn't shelter me from any of that, which was nice. And like, I was 7, 8 years old, and being able to watch Elm Street and Friday the 13th and American Werewolf in London, like all the classics, list goes on and on. But growing up in the early 80s, those movies, she was renting them every weekend. But I was able to watch all that stuff at an early age. And my grandmother even used to take me to see the Friday the 13th movies when they were still brand new coming out. I saw like Jason Lives in the theater, I'm like 8 years old or whatever. But that was pretty cool. But I'd always had the love for horror because of that.
Very cool. All right, so, like we were just talking about, you're exposed to it at a very young age. And then by the age of 13, you're volunteering at Bloodview in Broadview Heights, Ohio. Tell us a little bit about that. Your first experience haunt acting at a young age. What was that like, man?
It was awesome. I was so young that my mom actually had to drop me off. And actually I had to sign, she had to sign a waiver just to be able to work. Yeah, but it was volunteer, so there wasn't any labor laws, with that. But that's where I pretty much got my feet wet with just acting, and scaring people, and just the high you get off of scaring people and how cool it is at that young age. And even back then, there was an actor there that goes by the name of David Greathouse, and he was like one of the coolest actors I had seen at that time. And then later down the years, when I joined Mushroom Head and everything, he actually wound up becoming Mushroom Head's mask maker as well. just fun little trivia fact there. But I remember like acting in my room at Bloodview and being jealous of the people that looked elaborate and did all the crazy hardcore scaring and got really up personal with the customers. So that definitely drove me to like want to learn how to do makeup better than just paint your face white and throw blood on you and it's good enough.
Yeah.
But wanting to do what they were doing, do the more extreme stuff. So then over the years, I just did more and more on learning, and then it went from there.
Very cool. So, was it intimidating at all, being such a young age and working with a lot of older people and just kind of getting your feet wet? Was it a little intimidating at first, or did you just
Yeah.
jump right into it and tear it up?
No. I mean, I was definitely just sitting in your pop out, and then you just wait and jump out, or say something stupid that I would never be caught dead saying now. But it was definitely intimidating. But the cool part about Bloodview is that it kind of was this family kind of thing. And everyone kind of had each other's backs and looking out for each other. So there wasn't really there was no competition for who's the best actor. It was pretty cool. And everyone was all about like teaching you like, hey, I want to learn how to do like a latex, make it look like my throat slit open. There's someone there will actually show you and, you go from there. But that was cool. So it was never like, it was more of an inviting, kind of thing.
Awesome. Very cool. So you worked at Bloodview for a while, and then you went to Carnival of Horrors, right?
Yeah, there was a few in between that aren't worth mentioning or plugging.
Okay.
But the next, thing that I went on to when I was 19 years old with some other friends of mine was we went on the Carnival of Horrors that was in Medina, Ohio.
Okay.
And we were there for a couple years, and that moved locations. Now it's at Blossom Music Center.
Okay.
But that was the first time I got a paid acting, gig. Because Bloodview was all volunteer, and that's fine, for a while when you're younger and you're in, high school. It's something to do, with your friends for the weekend. But when you get older, it's nice to, especially when you get good at it, it's nice to make some money on it to pay the bills. It offsets, being able to afford to do it. Because, when you start getting into your 30s, it's hard to not show up, I'm going to quit my job to work for free in a haunted house. Doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carnival of Horrors was there with them at Blossom for a few years, and then eventually just wound up not really working out there that much anymore because the drive wasn't offset. It was like over an hour away, and just the drive wasn't offsetting what to do. Plus, they were kind of done with doing any major upgrades and things like that. So my calling wound up being elsewhere. And then with Mushroomhead becoming such a heavily touring act, that took me away from the fall season a lot. So I was out of the game for a long period of time. It wasn't until recently that kind of like full blown right back into it again.
Very cool. Very cool. And before we get into where you are now, which is Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, before we dive into that, looking back at Carnival of Horrors and looking back at Bloodview, is there a particular memory that you look at as just the ultimate scare that you pulled off that one time you made somebody pee their pants and run all the way back out to their car screaming for their mother?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I never could ever confirm if anyone actually peed their pants or not, because you don't really go up and check if that actually happened. But but an actor every night in the haunt's like, I made the customer pee themselves. How do you know? You don't really know. But yeah, I mean, I had too many memories to even like bring up, honestly, because it's like, I mean, every night was always like a memory back then, because we got to be a lot crazier in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was back in the time where we would literally follow customers to their cars and just get in their cars with them, and or like a friend of mine be hanging on the bumper dragging, they're driving away, and he's just like, we're giving people, we're all about that extra level of like, give them a show. And to me, that show doesn't end at the exit door. It's like, I'll follow you home if I can, like that movie, House is October built. But yeah, there's a lot more.
Right there.
Yeah, like we acted at this one haunt. What the heck was it called? Haunted Hydro, and they had golf carts. They had golf carts and all this stuff, and like we were just guest acting one weekend, and we literally were like jumping on golf carts and just terrorizing customers, and like all the actors were like, who the hell are you guys? What are you doing? But always had a blast, just like breaking that barrier and like getting as crazy as you can with people without physically grabbing them or touching them.
Very cool.
But yeah, a lot of really good memories at Bloodview, because that's kind of where I found my footing on actor characters, developing, and how to, if you can't scare the crowd, how do you entertain them or make them laugh?
Yeah.
You can't always be scary. You're not going to scare everyone. And Bloodview was so vast on different styles that it definitely taught me a lot in the early years. But like lots of crazy memories there, because we used to just go crazy back in the day there. But now there's all these rules and regulations, and everyone gets offended. So you have to kind of right. You have to back it down now.
Yeah.
So we've gotten a few questions in from the audience already, and the first one that I got was a very technical question. I'm not even certain that that's something in the works right now. It says, how will net neutrality affect the haunted attraction industry this year? And it's from Brian.
That's a rough one to
yeah,
put there on you
like that's the first one we got.
How will net neutrality?
That's what it states.
Brian, why don't you give us a little bit more detail on what you're looking for on that?
There's that whole net neutrality thing happened a while ago, and it didn't change anything with anything. If anything, it levels the field like a lot more. But yeah, I don't really see that happen. We pay, we sponsor our commercial and our ads on Facebook just like any other business, and there's really nothing that restricts or changes that with the net neutrality. So I don't know. I'm kind of confused on that one.
Yeah, I was too when I read it, and they sent it to me like 5 minutes ago, and I was like, I don't want him to think I'm being a dick, but
the only thing, and I don't know if this has nothing to really do with net neutrality, is the fact that if you're advertising anything anymore, you got to put money behind it to even let your like, you have 100,000 followers, and no one's going to see your post unless you put a couple bucks behind it, and that's just how it all works. And so be it. You gotta pay to play. You gotta pay to play.
We know how that works.
Got to throw a real quick shout out. Moto, what's up? Wonderful to see you. Glad you're able to join us this evening. So you've worked at a couple different haunts, including Chippewa Lake, and it's kind of a talking scare tradition. We always like to ask, have you had any? A lot of these haunted houses seem to have a story of something real, something paranormal, some type of real genuine ghost story. You've been in at least 3 different ones, obviously more than that. You have any stories to share of a night where Richard Thomas himself got the shit scared out of him by something?
The one in particular, I mean, because, I've been in plenty of old creepy buildings just with filming music videos and, all the haunt stuff over the years. So I always get, mildly creeped out in any scenario, and you hear like sounds, or you think you hear things, whatever. It is what it is. But when I was at Fear Experience, we were in an old department store that shut down in the 80s. But the one night I was there by myself, like working, and I swear to God, I was like stone cold sober, wasn't drinking nothing, but like I was working on stuff, and I literally heard someone. It was like someone was maybe 100 feet away yell my name, and I'm just like, oh, here by myself. Maybe someone showed up, but it was like 2 a.m. and the odds of someone showing up were pretty slim. Yeah. So like I like literally stopped what I was doing, and I yell back. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And like yell real loud, and then it's like dead silence. And I'm like, okay. So I start walking around. I'm like yelling, yo, who's here? Like walking around. It's a huge department store. It was like 90,000 square foot building. And just keep walking around. Didn't see no one. So eventually I just go to the front and unlock the front door and look out in the parking lot, and my car is still the only car there. So then like at that point I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna go home now. And I didn't even go in the back to shut the lights off or do anything. I literally just opened the door, saw it was just my car, and then I'm just like, all right. I just turned around, locked the door, and just left. And at the new place I'm at, Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, it was an actual slaughterhouse in it started in the 40s, and they shut down in the 80s. So it's got a lot of really strong, vibe happening in there. We've had a lot of paranormal people come in as well. Everyone that comes in there gets all kinds of crazy data and readings. But even when I'm there by myself compared to when I'm there with other people, it's a very strange building, to say the least.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. We're going to talk more about that a little later on. But talking about Chippewa Lake now, that's where you currently are. Let's start off with, what is your current role at Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse right now?
Right now, I'm just the lead set designer. I kind of act as like a general manager. Vaughn Leakin, he's the owner. And he discovered me. We kind of discovered each other through a mutual friend that actually worked at the Cleveland Agora that I play at all the time. And he had messaged me about, hey, I got this guy that's, in Chippewa Lake. He bought a building and he's kind of starting out. He needs help. He needs people to come in and do some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, get my number, whatever. And I thought nothing of it. And it was months later, he hit me up. And last year was my first year helping him. And I kind of just come in and we work great together with basically helping all the projects happen in a better fashion. He's got a really good vision. So I got lost in thought because I had to go so far back into the story of the Chippewa Lake there. But where were we? I completely forgot.
Your role with Chippewa Lake, and you
oh yeah, duh. Lost it.
It's all
but
right.
But yeah, I help come up with character ideas, the room design. He kind of comes up with a lot of the layout and a basic theme, and then I'll kind of come in and go, okay, I see what you want to do, what you're going for. This is, and just break it up to how this is going to look like this, and this is going to be painted like that, and just, and he's really good at doing a lot of that work as well. He gets it because he also acts in haunted houses as well. So he's one of the few owners out there that is actually a haunt actor. So he understands, how to do pop outs and how scares need to happen. And he understands, you set up your diversion, you got your scare and all that. So it's pretty cool. Normally you work for a haunt owner that just doesn't really know or get it, but he's great.
Yeah. Good. That's awesome to hear.
I got one from TJ. He wants me to ask you about when you ran into him with a machete.
Do you know a TJ?
I don't know.
Apparently, you have traumatized him to some extent. He's
ran into him with a machete.
He's been waiting for this moment to call you out on this, I guess.
Right? Is that TJ Barnes? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I don't recall. I don't know what you're talking about. Take me to court.
Good answer.
And let's be honest, TJ.
No, he's one.
With machetes.
No,
and
he's.
I've got one more going back off of when we were talking about the different creepy experiences at the slaughterhouse. Kylie wants to. Kylie says it's spooky, and Laura says, "Do you believe in ghosts?"
I do. I've never physically seen a ghost, but all kinds. I believe in energy and all that stuff. I don't really know how far I would take it. I don't go too crazy with it. To me, I think sometimes the over extremeness that some people do, when they investigate and all that, to me sometimes is a little cheesy because it's come on, but I do believe to a degree, in a lot of that stuff. I'd love to see something or, all that. I've had little experiences, but I've never seen an apparition in front of me or anything like that.
Just that undeniable thing.
Right. Yeah, I want that actual proof, but,
Yeah, he's more skeptical than me. I'm the
right.
one that's oh, shit. And he's
That's what I want. I mean, she'll think that she sees something. I'm like, well, let's just walk over there and really check it out. I want something. I mean, we went to an abandoned asylum and had a real cool experience, but even looking back, there's nothing definite that was there. I mean, there was a lot of weird things and some uneasy feelings, but nothing concrete. And I'm with you. I want that concrete.
Right. Much like aliens and UFOs, I want to believe in all that too. I want to see this. I want to see it already.
The thing is, I want to believe. I really do.
Yes.
But you need something substantial.
Yes, I need something substantial. Anyways, before we get sidetracked and turn into UFOs and aliens and
Right.
everything.
Now we're getting aliens. Let's get into conspiracy theories.
We can
But
talk
ancient astronaut theorists believe.
We'll be talking about the JFK assassination.
Right. In no time.
So anyways, your new season for this year is going to be opening up on Friday the 13th in September, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Friday the 13th. It's going to be an exclusive event. We haven't posted too much about that yet. But there will be a concert with a group called the Slash Street Boys. Okay. They're like they have videos all over. If you look them up, you've seen their videos. As soon as you see it, you'll be like, oh, those guys. But we're gonna have like a limited ticket sale for that. That's gonna be, preview night with a concert and like a whole to do. But then we officially open on the 21st of September. Okay. For typical walk-up customers and all that. So we won't be taking walk-ups on the 13th. It's going to be a ticket thing only.
Heard. Does Chippewa Lake have a lot of concerts?
No, we've never done a concert because we really don't want to get into that too much because then it just turns into a lot of extra work and extra power and like to do it right. And they're not necessarily like a band that's going to have instruments and stuff. Like when you see it, you'll get what it is. But to be able to have like a full like real like rock band and all that stuff, they would just be too much effort. We don't have a stage per se. We're just kind of make something, for this event and just kind of be done with it because we are very strong on the theme of the whole area looking believable. As far as like the layout of the land and it looking like it, should look, not just having like a stage in the middle of nowhere, with lights and PA speakers.
Very cool. So let's talk about the haunt itself a little bit. So you got somebody that's never ever been there before. What can they expect when they walk on to Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, and what all does the haunt itself offer?
The scariest, best, biggest. I'm imitating all the other haunted houses. It's easy to just say, oh, we're the best, we're crazy, we're awesome. Everyone says that, but not a lot of haunts are very true to one consistent theme or one consistent thing that they're selling. You go and it's like, oh, they got a fun house and they got a mansion and they got a laboratory and they got a butcher room, but it's like, okay, well, what else? Like, where's the story? How does this, a believable thing? Like, from the time you park your car until you get back to your car, it's literally front to back laid out to make you feel like it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes, style. Because it's a slaughterhouse and it's on 16 acres of land, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with that land to sell more of that story. So it's consistent in one theme the whole way through. There's no bending of that genre or that theme. Like, and all the characters are scripted out, and all original designs. We don't really do any carnival stuff or anything like that. It's just straight slaughterhouse. And we don't go cheesy with like the gore either. We try to like said. We're still telling like a huge story. It's easy to just go, oh, we're just gonna throw blood on the walls and be done with it. Now there's like a lot of layering in the story, probably way too much because most customers don't get the story. They're just like, oh, God, whatever. But we do put a lot of effort into that because we want it to stand apart. We want it to be different than just the typical pop-up fairground haunted house that comes into town.
Very cool.
So talking about you having so much detail and stuff into it, do you guys have any lights on tours that you do at the end of the season so people can get a closer look on some of that detail? Because you do miss a lot of things when you're going through the haunt.
Right, of course. We are going to do a lot of that stuff. We don't do it yet because we're still expanding everything to its fullest, possibility, or not possibility, its fullest, potential.
Gotcha.
And then, we'll do more of that stuff when the whole building's more ready for it. Because we want to do that after season lights on, or even do like weekend seminars or people that want to come in and, you know, someone in town's interested in, you know, doing a haunted house. They want to learn how to like do this or that or the other thing, and hold like classes and stuff there too. But yeah, we don't do the lights on stuff yet, but it's coming in the future.
Very cool. Very cool. Now you are doing something new this year. This will be the first year you're offering Fast Pass, right?
Yeah, we didn't have it last year because we didn't really have the proper setup for it.
Okay.
Plus the audience is growing over the years. This will be our third year open, and I wasn't even involved until last year. But just because of like bringing in, you know, photographers I know and the video people that I know, had a whole, you know, logo redesigned, and just with the social media knowledge alone, the numbers have tripled from last year. So I know this year, just with a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing, those numbers are going to grow. And because of that, then you can't have a Fast Pass if you only got 200 people in line. You know, you have to have like a good amount of people to be able to, you know, call for that. So we are adding it this year, and there's a lot of work that got overhauled with the queue line in general. We added a whole nother covered pavilion because unfortunately we are in Ohio where it rains for the entire month of September and October. So having covered waiting is like a make or break deal with getting people to come out. So we added a second pavilion and a whole different routing system to get it all to like make proper sense. But we're going to do like a special, like actual like VIP thing too. That's going to be themed to the haunt. So like,
very cool.
You know, people actually have something, not just like, oh, you paid extra for the Fast Pass. Here's your, you know, coupon, you know, or whatever. Or actually give them something that, you know, is like a collector piece, but also tells again more of the story of, you know, the haunt.
Okay.
And that's something that we haven't experienced before with Fast Pass and stuff. It's been typically Fast Pass. That's what you get. So it's really cool that you're incorporating that.
Right.
And give a little more bang for the buck.
Mm-hmm.
Is Chippewa Lake non-contact, I'm assuming, right now?
No, we don't really do the full contact because it's just too iffy nowadays. Like, even if you are completely, you know, by the rules, like everything is cool. There's no, you know, weirdos inappropriately touching people. Even if you do everything right, you're still going to get people that are complain and sue happy. And they're going to want to just, you know, say, I got hit, I got punched, because it's full contact. They're already going in there knowing, like, they're expecting, like, I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get punched. And then a bunch of drunk guys show up and, you know, they decide to fucking, you know, be an asshole. It tends to happen. So, yeah, just staying away from that in general is usually in everyone's best interest. So then if something does happen in a haunted house, like some, you know, person says they inappropriately this, whatever, that, or they got hit or pushed, and it's like, no, you didn't, because all of our actors signed a contract that says there's no touching. So I don't know what you're talking about. In the future, we might offer an upgrade for that. I went to, was it Penhurst Asylum? I can't remember if it was Penhurst Asylum or I can't remember one of them, but it was a haunt that I went to, and they offered, you know, they did like a red glow stick around your neck if you wanted a full contact show.
We experienced that with you as this nightmare. We did that. Yeah. Right,
because then it actually isolates the people that are going there that want to engage in that. And if you're just like, oh, we're full contact, you know, most people don't want to bring their 12, 13-year-old kids if it's a full contact haunted house, you know, because then they're just like, they're going to assume it's all McCaney Manor and it's all the, you know, haunted houses that like throw you in a box and choke you with spaghetti and, you know, or whatever the hell they do out there. But yeah, it's best to stay away from it. We did it one year at the Fear Experience as well. And, you know, again, we found that when we took it away, our demographic changed. Once we weren't advertising full contact haunted house, you know, then it became more, you know, your average people and families and things like that. But we still have, you know, a crazy, very R-rated show, but, you know, you just can't really, it's 2019, you just can't grab people anymore.
No,
that's true.
Not as much. But while we are on the subject, walk through haunted houses will always be king of haunted house. But immersive horror is on the rise. It's,
Right.
you know, it's definitely growing, and there is definitely an audience of people. You got psychos like me that are all about it.
We're about to go endure one of the craziest ones that we know of that's going on right now.
Yeah, we got miasma coming up. But
what one's that? Which one's that you're talking about?
Miasma.
What is it? What is it called?
They're usually based out of Chicago, doing a one-night show in Omaha. And so we're going to go there.
Tracking our asses 13, 14 hours to do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we got Stag a few weeks after that in Detroit.
Right on.
But has Richard Thomas put himself through an immersive horror experience yet?
Yeah. I mean, there's immersive and then there's immersive. I mean, that
I'm talking immersive.
Yeah, that word gets loosely, you know.
Safe, immersive.
Yeah, that word gets loosely used. But there's a haunted house in California. I can't remember the city, but it was called 17th Door, and it was insane. I've never experienced something like that at all. It was crazy. I still don't even know how to properly explain it to people. It just was not your traditional thing whatsoever. There was like.
I'm concerned that that's the way we're going to try to describe my ass when we're done. Is we don't know how to explain this to you guys.
Right, but it was crazy how they told the story of this girl and like all of the things that happened to her in her life, and the way they cast people and the way they pulled out these scenes. I mean, they had a simulated school shooting scene. I mean, that was like, I mean, you can tell their actors were like all
going on there.
They're all professionally trained, and every room was set up to make you uncomfortable at some point, and it works. I mean, it was crazy. And the one to leave the final room, you had to either let cockroaches or a spider, you know, touch you or crawl on you, and they had these actors in there with these things. But the whole room was laid out like, you know, an awesome Resident Evil lab, and it was like all their sets were insanely detailed, like Hollywood quality, and it's like every room kind of had an escape room vibe, and it was like you were with your groups and you got into the rooms, the door locked and closed, and then a scene would play out, and it was just like the most original thing I'd ever seen. You get literally brought into this whole nightmare of, you know, what's happening. But they're crazy. They're doing a whole different thing I've never seen before.
It was interesting that you said you were talking about getting choked with spaghetti.
Right. And the McKinney Manor, you know.
Well, this wasn't not quite to that level, but when we did Shock. When we did Shock Theater, that was one of the things that they didn't choke me with it, but they had some cold ramen noodles that they were playing off like they were worms. But you know, and getting fed that while you're blindfolded, and the story that they told, they terrified people without showing a drop of blood, without really even getting too physically aggressive. They just put you in some very uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
fun for us, but the girl that was experiencing it with us was in a fetal position, shaking through most of it.
Yeah, she
like,
perfect.
It's cool to see how people can tell that story and not even have to really do anything to you. And it kind of made you stronger with your partner that you went in there with too, because you had to rely on them to get through some of the awkward ass shit they were asking you to do at times. But
right on.
Very cool. And I'm glad you've been through one, man.
And as I'm talking about, another one that was pretty immersive and kind of on that level too was Freakling Brothers in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And that was really crazy. I didn't expect that either. And they gave me a safe word, and I completely missed them even saying it. My friend that I was with told me like afterwards, like, yeah, dude, safe word was, I can't remember what it was, but I'm like, I didn't even know, because there was a point where this one chick had like a shock thing that actually shocked you. It was like a mild, you know, taser shock, and she just kept shocking me over and over again because I was never giving the safe word. And I'm literally on the ground, and I'm a good sport. I go along with whatever, because I'm like, whatever. I came into this, I knew it was 18 and over, whatever. Yeah. And then she just keeps shocking me, and I'm just like laughing on the ground, like fuck, and my friends like starts yelling like the same. He's like, you got to say whatever, and I'm like, oh, and I yelled it like I had no clue, but that was a really cool one too. Freakling Brothers.
Very cool.
I'm about positive that when I was talking to Faceless Ventures, who's going to be on our show for 2020, that they done an incorporation with Freakling Brothers when they came over to the U.S. one time. And man, I'm hoping they do that again because I'd really like to do something that Faceless Ventures puts out.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool. I actually just saw a message pop up. There's a Mike that's saying you're not asking his question.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Mike. I'm sorry. We were talking. Let me find it.
While she's scrolling for Mike's question, apologies, Mike. We are looking for that. Anyways, tell us a little bit about the building itself. You talked a little bit about Chippewa Lake being a slaughterhouse and the age of the building. Just talk a little bit about the history of the building itself, and has there been any weird things that's happened at the building?
So it opened up in the 40s. I Wikipedia'd a lot of the information, but it was this German guy. I can't remember his name, but he was German. Came over. With his family, opened up this slaughterhouse, and it was in business for a long time. And it shut down, I think, in the 80s sometime. And then it's been vacant forever until Vaughn, the owner, purchased it, and had to. Half the building didn't even have roofs on it. He had to put roofs and renovate the whole place to get it back up and running. From what we were told as well, a murder did happen there as well.
Okay.
Back, I don't know, 60s or 70s maybe. My information could be not fully right as far as the date, but from what we were told by someone who had worked there as well, that murder did happen. It was some thing. It was employee versus employee. I think it was something with I think it had something to do with the guy cheating on the guy's wife or something like that. It was something silly like that. But yeah, literally got shot and killed in what was the break room of the place. But that's the only thing that really goes around it, except for there's been millions and millions of gallons of animal blood spilled on the property. So there's that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
the fact that it was a slaughterhouse.
Yeah. There's the weight and and of the agony of thousands of animals that met their death there.
Yeah.
On a real humid day, you can still smell it because it comes out of the stone a little bit, even though the place is clean. There's not a drop of real blood anywhere, but yeah, when it's humid, you'll smell like that's something dead. That's a dead animal.
The building just soaked up in dead.
Pretty cool. We don't have to buy froggy scents or nothing. It just smells naturally.
Very cool. Very cool. I think we found Mike's question.
I found Mike's question. I'm sorry, we were talking. I keep looking down to make sure it doesn't scroll too far, and then I missed it. So he's saying Tattoo wants to know where he can get some sweet knockoff masks from Mushroom Head.
He's making fun of a situation in general there.
No. Is that what you were talking to me about?
Right. No, there's this guy, and I don't even want to mention his name because then it's promoting him. But Mike Tattoo, he works with 13th Floor, which is a very highly respected haunt company. But yeah, there's this guy that was making knockoff Mushroom Head masks, and because I made a joke and called him out, and he was selling them trying to sell them in the Haunters Hangout pages and selling them on Mask Central and all these spots. It's yo, dude, you can't do that. And then he just was basically he was offended because I told him he couldn't do it, and it was this whole thing. So Tattoo's got that ongoing joke, and the mask looked terrible too. It was a horrible. I was more mad that it looked like shit, because if it actually looked good, I would have been oh, that's really cool, you need a job. But it was it literally looked like your little sister made that, and he's trying to sell it, But yeah.
That's
Yeah,
man.
you can go to him and get your sweet bootleg Mushroom Head masks, or you can get the real awesome Mushroom Head masks at Mushroom Head Masks and Memorabilia Facebook page.
Yeah, they're doing auctions on them. I keep turning them on the page, so keep checking that out, guys.
Yeah, every time we tour, we auction all the stuff off.
From Taylor, she said she's always wanted to know what inspired your mask in Mushroom Head and what horror elements influenced it.
That mask is literally the hybrid of Baraka from Mortal Kombat, Nemesis from Resident Evil,
Very good.
and Chatterer from Hellraiser.
Okay. All right.
So basically took the best elements of those three characters and had the Jason Kisner who does our masks now, basically had him do that off that.
I absolutely adore Hellraiser, so I love that. That was incorporated into making the mask.
Right.
And I have one more, and then we're going to have to get back to our questions, but I won't miss you guys. I promise. We'll come back to it. Do you prefer more live action or animatronics in haunted attractions?
I know the answer.
Yeah. The problem is people overuse animatronics. Like I've been through haunted houses that are like, oh, it's the best one in the area, and they've got over $5 million and the work there, and you go through and it just looks like the Trans World showroom floor. It's like you just hear like air pistons going off everywhere, and everything's got
a few of those places when I talk to you on the phone too.
Right. I like when you can use them as a distraction piece or something like that. But I've literally been through haunts. It's like there's two animatronics in every room. It's like Jesus. Like if you're gonna be like a funhouse haunt, then you have to do that because you're never gonna have the acting staff. But nothing's ever gonna beat a live actor, no matter what you do. Because even at like Universal Studios, like their Halloween Horror Nights, I think they employ over some 1,000+ actors there, and they have like so many people that they like rotate, and it's crazy. But they don't have any animatronics, when you really go there, except for like certain silly things like there's a werewolf or something like that. But they're very, very actor driven, and they use animatronics in a different way, where they're not like just a zombie flailing everywhere. It's like triggering something in the room to do something or be animated to pull your attention away, and then you're always going to have that live actor that's going to execute it the best way every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like how you worded that. Animatronics should just be a distraction. They shouldn't be that you're relying on to generate your scare in the scene or anything like that. Just draw the eyes away from the actor for a moment, let the actor set them up, and then that's it. That's all that they really need to do.
Travis
exactly.
is asking if you'll ever consider guest haunting in Netherworld again.
I would love to. I just got to get down there. The problem with that is that Atlanta's so far away. Luckily, I was able to go down there a couple years ago. And Ben Armstrong, who runs that place, great guy, awesome fucking guy. But he's got a killer thing going on down there. That haunt's amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but instead of just going down there and visiting, I'm like, I want to act. I want to like run around in there and have fun. But it was cool because I'd never been through it, never had seen it, but I felt so comfortable and like I felt almost like I had been there before. Like I was able to like go to every room and find like the cubby holes and the pop outs and just run my whole way through it. But it was a lot of fun acting down there.
Very cool. So we got one more question before we promised, we're going to get into Mushroom Head. I know there's some people out there that are waiting.
I've got several people that keep asking Mushroom Head questions. Talk about the haunt too.
We're getting there.
Right.
Favorite horror movie and why?
I think I'm wearing the shirt right now, but it's backwards on the thing, I believe. But yeah, The Shining. I mean, still to this day.
Everybody's noticed it though. I've seen comment after comment about fuck yeah, awesome shirt.
Right. I mean, to this day, it's still a movie that stands the test of time, and nothing in it is cheesy. There's no, stupid animated monster, or it's all very psychological, and that's the kind of horror that I really enjoy, that smart horror. And it is very much like, it feels like a movie of something. It feels like that movie feels like it's based on a true story or something, it basically, it's like this happened at some point. It had to have. It's executed way too well. Cause I love all kinds of horror movies and everything, but that one definitely probably holds the strongest, foothold in horror for me.
Very cool.
Caden wants to know what you would do if he tried to sell you a bootleg Slipknot mask.
Wait, what? Who?
Caden Sharp says, Stitch, what
right.
would you do if he tried to sell you a Slipknot bootleg mask?
I wouldn't buy one, so I don't really know how to answer that.
Yeah.
That's a weird one.
If we're going after making stuff, guys, there's a good possibility we want the real thing.
Right.
We're moving from Caden. So you're in Mushroom Head. right? You're the drummer of Mushroom Head.
Well, actually, the title would be water percussionist.
Heard.
I do. I don't know if you've seen videos. They're the water drums that we have in the front of the stage. I'm one of them, and then I do the samples and like keyboard backing stuff.
Very cool. So how did you become a part of Mushroom Head, and how long have you been a member of the band?
I've been a member of the band since 2001.
Okay.
I've been a fan of Mushroom Head since 1994. Growing up in the scene, being into Nine Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson in the early 90s, and with Mushroom Head being a local band, like everyone that was into that style of music would we were like the flies on shit. Like literally everyone was like, Mushroom Head, have you seen Mushroom Head? Have you heard Mushroom Head? Have you been to their shows? Like, and this is pre-internet. So you couldn't just go to YouTube and look up what's Mushroom Head. You couldn't. There was no internet even really yet to look any of that stuff up. So started going to their concerts at a young age, and just to make a long story short, eventually became friends with them. Started working and printing their merchandise. Became the merch guy for a couple years, and then when they had some member changes, Skinny had asked me to join the band because they're very much into hiring people they know, not we're going to put an ad out and get some weirdo from California who don't know he's secretly a drug addict or whatever, you know, and just people you can't gel with. It's always like a friend or someone you know, because Skinny just likes that comfortability of, you know, people you can trust, people you know that you're friends with them as well. They're not just there for the job. And people that support and love the band too. I mean, everyone in the band is a huge supporter. Even the new members that have come in, like they're all people that grew up going to shows and being heavily passionate for the Mushroom Head, you know, legacy, you know, continuing.
Very cool.
But yeah, I've been in for 18 years now, which it literally seems like yesterday that I joined, and it's like 18 years later, and my whole head's gray, and you know, I'm like, what happened? Where did all that time go? But it's been an awesome ride. I've got to do amazing things, and I never thought you would have wound up joining one of your favorite bands.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
That had to be some sort of an experience.
It was a trip. Yeah, it was a trip.
I don't see it
just
happening.
even being asked, I'm like, really? Like, okay.
I don't see it happening. But if Disturbed ever called me and was like, "Hey, man, you want to join?"
Right. You can walk Kyle with the best of them.
Yeah, it'd be nuts, you know?
Yeah.
Again, I have no musical skills, so I'm pretty sure that's not ever going to happen. That's crazy, man. Joining your favorite band, that's awesome. What's your favorite part about being in a rock band?
The touring and getting to see, you know, different places. Most people don't even get to leave the city they were born in, you know, or the state they live in. And I've gotten to see, you know, multiple countries and pretty much visit every state. I've been in every state multiple times. But yeah, the touring, seeing cool locations. Like just on this last trip, we visited the location where they filmed a lot of stuff for Twin Peaks, which is a cult following style, like underground, like TV, not really underground. It's known, but it's not mainstream known. TV show. Got to see that location, which was awesome. Got to see the Amityville house.
That's cool.
Got to see a lot of cool stuff. You wind up, you're like randomly like, we're playing a show in Amityville, New York. I wonder if that's, and you look it up, and like literally the house is like 2 blocks away. Like, oh crap. And touring in the fall is great because I've been able to see numerous haunted houses in like every different state. I'll like look it up. It's like a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I'm on my phone looking up, all right, what's around? And I'll be like literally Uber and like try to knock out like 3 in the area, just because it's great to see what other states do and other places do. And not everyone has the same mentality that other people have other places, or their fire laws are way different and they can get away with doing crazy shit. That's my favorite, is when you go to like a lot of, like smaller states where they have like, there's only 300 houses and within an hour radius, but they're like crazy and they do it like way cooler than other people do.
Very cool.
I did have a question a while back. I can't remember who it was from, and I apologize for that. But since you said that you get to tour and visit a lot of other ones, have you found any that you particularly like in New Jersey?
I haven't seen any in New Jersey.
Okay.
I would love to. We tend to not play New Jersey as much. We play New York a lot, but I mean, like New York City, but yeah, Jersey, I don't know. Lately, we haven't really been there, so I haven't seen any there yet. If there's any to recommend to me, that'd be great, and I can put them on the list.
What would be one of the favorite haunts that you've been to?
Man, I mean, a lot of them are just great in different ways. Like, when I first saw 13th Floor in San Antonio, that kind of changed my whole perspective on what a haunted house could be. Like, they set up their haunt more like an action show, and then put monsters in it. But they make their sets just literally feel like you're like in like the Call of Duty zombies, or like the sets in video games where they're just super elaborate and detailed, and not everything's got blood on it and just dead bodies everywhere. It's like set up like a real looking set, and then you just put the monster and the scare in it. And I think that's way more effective than what a lot of other people do. So they were one of my favorites because they changed like my perspective of set design and all that. As far as like fun and a lot of originality, there's Erebus in Detroit, and they were like crazy fun. They had a lot of really involving things, and they just did stuff that there's no way in hell you get away with in Ohio with our fire codes.
Yeah.
They had a whole thing where they say it's like you're buried alive, and you're like, all right, yeah, whatever. It's probably that stupid coffin ride thing or whatever. But there's actually like a room, and like there's a skit that plays out, and then the lights turn off, and the whole room literally fills up with balls from a ball pit, and it's like over your head. You're buried in the pitch black in a real confined area, and you're literally like just like you're buried. You're buried. And like I kind of like smiled and laughed for a second, but after like 10 seconds, you're like, okay, get me the fuck out of here. Like it got a little claustrophobic and a little weird to deal with. But yeah, Erebus in Detroit. And like I said, 17th Door, that was, I mean, as far as standing out, those places are really, really next level.
Very cool. So getting back to Mushroom Head a little bit, how many, are any of the other band members, do they haunt act a little bit on the side or do anything like that as well, or just you?
Not so much anymore, but 3 of our other members, Ryan, our bass player, Dr. F, Steve Rockhorst, our singer, and Tom Schaffner, our guitar player, when I was, we were all like younger, they used to act at haunted houses like all the time. They don't do it as much anymore, but they all have, past experience with acting. And, Ryan, Dr. F, he's actually knows how to build sets and all that stuff too. He's really good at all that and carpentry. And he did it. They just did it for so long, and they just don't do it like I'm doing it right now.
Very cool.
But they have the background, which ties in with them knowing how to act as a character on stage in a band, just like me. Like I know how to, like, when you put a costume on, you have to be that character. You can't just be a dude in a mask.
I'm getting a little nervous right now because I made a promise if we ever hit 50 viewers live on one of these that I would do a cartwheel. And we're like, we're like 2 away from that. Yeah.
So share it out, guys.
All
I
right.
want to see him do a
We're
cartwheel.
gonna wrap this up here in just half a second.
And Gravedigger wanted to throw one out there. Anytime you get near Omaha, if you get out that way, he has a haunt called Sinister Sydney. He'd like for you to come check it out if you get the opportunity.
Awesome. Very cool. Oh, another one that stood out. Now that I'm thinking about it, Fear Factory. It's called Fear Factory, and it's in Salt Lake City, Utah. That place was insane. It was just, I don't even know how to describe that, but they were doing all kinds of cool stuff there.
Very cool.
Another good one to see.
So, out of all the band members, is there one that is particularly easy to scare? Is there one that maybe gets picked on a little bit as far as or everybody's pretty...
No, I can't really say no.
Okay. All right. So,
we all love horror movies. We're all tuned into that world, so none of us really.
I got you.
Harden
to it. So a Mushroom Head show live. Talk to us. What is it like for someone that's never been to come see Mushroom Head live?
The cool part about Mushroom Head Live show is that even if you don't necessarily like the music, the show is insanely entertaining. And we've had people from all different age ranges, be like, I was just here just for the show. I'm not for the show. I was just here for the bar and saw you guys play. And it's like some guy in his 60s, and he's like, man, I don't really know about the music, but that show just me. I'm a fan. I'm gonna come to your every show now. And as young as younger kids, like I've seen 5-6-year-olds there with their parents who were Mushroom Head fans. Their kids old enough to where they're into it, and their faces painted up, and they're all into the show, and they just like the visual stimulation of it, not necessarily the audio. But yeah, the cool part about Mushroom Head Live is that the visual is always captivating to anyone that's in the crowd. Even if they're not even a fan, they're gonna be like, okay, well, this is entertaining.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, we are getting close to having to wrap it up here. We can't eat up all of Mr. Thomas's night. This man is.
He's a busy man.
I'm really busy. I gotta get back to unlocking all my items in the crypt in Mortal Kombat 11.
That's a big task, though, man, and it's very important.
They really make you work for this shit these days. That's for sure.
They do. I'm a big video game fan too, man. So I'm with you on that. I haven't got Mortal Kombat 11 yet. I hope it's worth it. And
it's fun. I mean, if you like 10, it's basically 10, but I think it's a little better. The storyline was really good. I wish they actually would just make a movie out of what the storyline was this time. It'd be a badass Mortal Kombat movie.
Heard.
But it's worth getting.
I've came up for one more question for you. And while I'm asking that question, if anybody else has one, right now is the time to get it in real quick, all right? You're a gamer a little bit, obviously, if you're into Mortal Kombat. Is there a particular video game in the horror genre that you would look at and say is your favorite? And if there is, why?
I mean, my answer is kind of, I can't pick just one. I mean, the latest one has been the Evil Within franchise.
Yes.
And Resident Evil 7 was complete gold. The way they did Resident Evil 7. I don't know if you played Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, I was thinking of 6 for a second, but yes.
With the family, and it was basically like you were playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Resident Evil.
The Resident Evil 2 remake was really good too.
Love it. I haven't beat it with Claire. It's Claire, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I beat it already with Chris. It's Chris, right? I can't remember. Leon. I'm sorry. Leon. But yeah, it's so beautiful. It was beautifully like redone. It's crazy how they can do that. And then you have the nostalgia of like, I remember playing this on PS1, in my bedroom on my 13-inch color TV. But that was really good. And like I said, Resident Evil 7, like, I love how they reinvented themselves, and it wasn't just another zombie game. Because it's like, you just get so old of like, all right, killing zombies, like, great. We get that. The first Evil Within was awesome too. Like, that gave me a lot of inspiration for set design and character, inspiration, all that kind of stuff. That's a great game to get inspired by for haunted houses. What's that? Sorry?
Did the ending piss you off? Because the ending pissed me off.
The ending was kind of like
a terrible boss battle to end that game on.
Yeah, the second one more so than the first one was a little disappointing on the ending. But yeah, the first one, it was like great until like the ending was kind of just like, meh. They just,
yeah.
On the end.
There's no winning.
For those that haven't played, I don't want to give it away, but man, it's such a great build-up, and then just like the last 5 minutes, you're like, what the fuck was that?
yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but it's a great franchise, and talk about Resident Evil. I love how they've always redesigned themselves. They had the initial where it was that classic horror, real survival mode. Then you get into Resident Evil 4, and it's survival, but it's got this action element to it now. And then they kind of fuck it up in Resident Evil 5 and 6, and then they come back at Resident Evil 7, come right back to their roots and absolutely kill it.
And that's and that seems like that's usually the consensus. Everyone says the same thing. 4 was awesome and ramped up, and then 5 was a shit show, and 6, I think I played 2 hours of 6, and it went right back to GameStop. I'm like, I need as much credit back for this as possible. This is terrible. And then when Resident Evil 7 was coming out, it was like, oh, great, whatever. And then it just blew my mind.
Because of six.
Yeah, that game scared the shit out of me numerous times. Like I rarely play a game and like jump, and that game, like every 10 minutes there's a good jump scare. It's literally it's like you're playing a real haunted house. It's great.
Yeah.
When he jumps, when the father
Jumps
comes
through the wall.
bashing through that wall there in the early
yeah.
part of the game. That's one of the. I haven't had a moment where I've dropped my controller before in a long time.
Right.
But that one got me.
Yeah, that and when the wife is after you with the chainsaw and all that. I played the VR version a little bit on the beginning, and that VR part where she's got the chainsaw, like it's crazy because you like look down and it's like the chainsaw's in your chest. It's pretty awesome.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
pretty awesome.
We got any more questions before we wrap this
Am
up
I
here?
pronouncing that right?
Ventina? We're gonna try.
Ventana.
Ventana.
Yes.
Ventana news.
That is my other band that I do that I do like that on top of Mushroom Head, but it's more of an industrial based band, and I do most of the songwriting as well.
Okay. Very cool.
But what's the question about Ventana?
If
It
there
just
was
asked
any
if
just
there'll
any
be any new
updates.
news.
Any updates?
Oh, there's no new news because right now it's pretty much Mushroom Head is the priority with that album right now. So side projects are all on hold until further notice. But the next Ventana record's already done and written. It was already written in line with the last record that we just put out, The Silent Majority. So we already had the next one ready. It's just finalizing and releasing it, but it won't come out until the new Mushroom, a few months after the new Mushroom Head.
Okay. Very cool.
Somebody's wanting to know, Laura, what do you think of the run and hide type horror games like Outlast and things like that?
I've never played Outlast, but I've been told that I should, and I'm an idiot for never playing it. I've been told that by numerous people. I've been shown some I've been shown some screenshots and some shit from it, and I'm like, you're right, I should have totally played this game. So I know I downloaded it because they offered a remaster version on PS4 recently. So I am gonna play that soon.
The not being able to fight back is the worst part of that game.
Right.
It's just you just have to hide and get away. And
There was one part in the basement that we kept trying to hide from, and you could hide for a minute or two, and you'd come out, and then you'd hear that music, like, shit, and you'd have to go right back to the same spot, and it took forever to just go. Was trying to get through it.
All right, Heather, we're gonna let Heather's question be the last one. I think it's a good one to wrap it up on. What is your biggest fear? I know it's not clowns.
No, they just spiders.
Spiders? Okay.
Spiders. You would
There you
think
go,
someone in
Heather.
a haunted house should love spiders and be all about spiders, but I'm deathly afraid of them. I just don't like anything most arachnid. I'm just like, I don't really mess with. I'm usually looking for the nearest can of, anything I can spray it with to kill it and send it back to the hell from which it came.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Richard, thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening and coming and being a part of this, man. It's such an honor, such a privilege to get to talk to you for a little bit. And you are an awesome guy, man.
Cool, I appreciate it. This is the first time I've done one of these, so it's pretty cool.
Very cool. We always like to turn the floor over to the guests at the end and give them the opportunity to give a couple shout-outs to whoever they'd like to give a shout-out to, promote their current haunt, everything like that. And guys, if you don't mind, stick around for a few minutes afterwards. We're going to hit the announcements and stuff like that on the back end of this.
And maybe I'll take it outside so you can do that cartwheel since we hit 50.
We're not doing a cartwheel tonight.
We're doing a cartwheel.
We're not doing that tonight. Stop it. We're going to do the cartwheel, but not tonight.
There's plenty of room behind you. Just move that chair.
See, he wants to see the cartwheel.
Right.
We're not doing it tonight. We're not doing it tonight. Okay.
We will schedule the cartwheel,
The
guys.
cartwheel's coming. Okay. I'm not breaking
Right
my
on.
neck. We'll do it a little later. But anyways, turn the floor over to you, man. If there's any shout outs you want to give, any promotion for your haunt, anything like that, man. Anything you want to say at all. Floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really aside from like I said, the Slaughterhouse opens September 21st, and it's insanely upgraded this year, and it's way longer. If you've seen it last year, it's going to really knock you on your ass this year because we've taken everything that we did last year and like really modifying all of that and dialing in everything more. And then the whole show itself is way longer than it was last year. The only problem we had last year was that it was a little short, but that problem's been alleviated now. Like I said, just come out to the haunted house. I don't know anything else. I'm currently not promoting anything else really.
Very cool.
It's kind of it.
Man. Again, thank you so much.
And buy Mortal Kombat 11.
Yes.
NetherRealm Studios, send me free shit.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, we're gonna let you get back to unlocking the crypt.
Yeah, right. I gotta get that second Sub-Zero skin. So.
All right. And, we got a couple things that we're gonna go over. So Richard, thank you so much.
Thank
we'll let
you
get
so
back
much,
to what
man.
you were
We
doing.
really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too, man.
Alrighty, guys.
All right.
So if you'll bear with us a little bit, we do have a few announcements for you guys. We just wanted to get Richard to you guys as soon as we could. And for
Now with us tonight, big thank you to you guys breaking the record tonight, man. 50
I want to
live
see that
viewers.
car, Will. Thank you.
I think we got up to 52, and thank you all so much for everybody that decided to remind me of it as soon as we hit the 50s. I do appreciate that very, very much.
And on top of that, that just kind of helps us solidify the fact that we've got some people watching us, and we want to bring you bigger and better things. So
Yeah.
we actually just went and shot out a little bit of change
Yeah.
on some new equipment for
A
you
little
guys
bit
too,
of change.
so we can get the videos up and running a little bit better. It was a little bit of change. We
a lot
did
of
get
change.
a decent discount on it.
A lot of change. But anyways, number one, 6,300 plus likes, almost at 6,400 likes before we went live this evening. We thank you all so, so much for that. Appreciate the love so much, as always. Motherfucking Gravedigger is in the motherfucking finals, man. How exciting is that shit?
Congratulations, Gravedigger!
Man, that is so exciting, man. And I love...
Celebratory Drinks Friday.
Yeah, we have met a lot of great people in the haunt industry, and I'm not one to pick favorites. All right, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Kind of have one.
I absolutely love every single person that I've got the opportunity to meet with this.
Yes.
But goddamn it, Gravedigger, I love the shit out of you, man. You are the shit. He has been so very supportive of everything that we do.
And I love what he stands for, and that's
Yeah.
the same belief that we have with this. We're better together.
Yeah.
Anything to do with the haunt community is better together. It's always better to promote people. It's always better to lift up people. We don't want to get people off on the wrong track with the haunt industry. We're trying to band together and take negative stigmas out. And Gravedigger does that in absolutely every show he does. And we're hoping we're able to bring that to you as well.
But talking about him, we got one last push to go. Now, voting's going on right now for you to pick whoever's going to be Gravedigger's victim. I mean, whoever's going to be his wonderful opponent that he will take on here in just a couple weeks.
He said you got to do the cartwheel on the QA line because he was number 50.
We'll see about that, Heath. We'll see about that. Anyways, Gravedigger, awesome guy. So when we go up to Omaha this weekend, he will be doing a Killer Friday with us on Rosemary West. We have a special location that we're hoping to seal down for you guys. We'll let you know for sure if that actually happens or not, but it's looking like it's going to. We'll find out for sure hopefully tomorrow. And again, we got the special guest, Gravedigger, will be doing it with us. Very, very excited to be able to hang out with him. And not only that, supposedly, old Creepy over here is going to come out and play on Saturday a little bit before we got to go into Miasma. And we're going to go over to Omaha's Comic-Con, spend the day over there with Gravedigger, act like we're not terrified of the evening activities that we have selected, and, try and survive that.
There's an actress from The Office there, and I know that's a really nerdy thing to go over right now, but we kind of, anytime that we're done with anything and there's nothing on television, it's our go-to, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Pretty much. We're real close to wrapping it up here. So after that, after Miasma, we've got Stag coming up on July 11th. Talking Scared 2020. I know you guys think I'm fucking with you. I know you guys think I'm not serious.
We're booked to April, guys.
It's booked up. Booked all the way till April. And the exciting thing is so we invested some money. We got a brand new fucking laptop. We took that old piece of shit white Hunk of Junk
Moto,
Box.
man. Moto, thank you. He's trying to help me figure out the different platforms and stuff he works off of, and he just got a new one. And thank you so much, man, for being a great part of the honk community and helping us out.
But yeah, we got it's much better system. It's going to be able to download these videos to you all much faster and be able to do things a lot better. We're going to be able, we're looking at in Talking Scared 2020 selling some sponsorships. We'll be talking more about that and some of the different rules we're going to set up with it. We would like to allow you all the opportunity to sponsor some different episodes, but there's going to be a few restrictions on it based on haunts and stuff like that, because we never want to give the image that anybody can buy our reviews, because that absolutely cannot happen in any way, shape, or form. So
no matter how much we love you, because there's a lot of you out there that we love, it's still going to be honest haunt reviews, guys. That's what we're here for, and that's what we want to present to the haunt community.
Every single time. That's always at the core of everything that we do. And while we are going to be offering some sponsorships for Talking Scared 2020, there will be some rules and stuff with it that we're still kind of hammering out and figuring out exactly how we're going to do that, because our reviews are not for sale.
Nope.
So we got to figure that out.
I've got another little tidbit. So a couple of days ago, I posted, hey, we've been getting stickers and buttons from a couple of different people in the haunt industry, the actors, the haunted attractions. I'm trying to do something with our set, guys. I want to display you guys. And depending on how many we receive, we'd like to do like a little feature, so many of them each time, and just like, hey, a little shout out to this one, a little shout out to that one. This is where you can find them. We want to help promote you guys. That's what we've been trying to do from the beginning. So if you have stickers, if you have buttons, if you have any small memorabilia, I can't put an 11 by 14 up on the wall of one person, sorry.
If Maximus sends us an 11 by 14 a pumpkin smasher, I'll put it up on the wall.
Yes, Maximus, send us an 11 by 14 a pumpkin smasher. You're going to be in the center of all of it, man. We'll do it. We'll do it for you.
Revolve the whole world around you in your glorious fucking name. But anyways, one last thing, and we're getting off of here. Check out Sacrilegious. This dude right here. He does his thing on Thursdays over at Experienced Terror Team. He had his first show. It was his first time out there. Okay, it's his first time out there. He's going to be back there on Thursday. I know it's probably weird because you guys are like, hey, that's actually you. And we know that. You can go ahead and stop.
And it is called Sacrilegious. Realize that, okay?
Oh, yeah, it's an 18 and up show.
Yeah.
All right, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. If you didn't see it last week, it's an 18 and up show. So,
and stuff.
Next week's going to be worse. I don't know if Piggy's still on here, but just so you know, next week's going to be worse. I'm going to find
I might be at work for that one. I don't know.
I'm going to find that line, man. But anyways, that is it for tonight. We are going to be wrapping it up here. And that's it. We're done. Press that finish button. Post
All right,
this
guys.
shit. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you so much, guys.